As a heart surgeon, I've seen thousands of seniors who thought they were doing everything right. They watched their diet, took their walks, and faithfully swallowed the same small pill every morning, believing it was keeping them safe. But what if I told you that for many of them, that tiny pill was quietly doing the opposite? I still remember a patient named Harold. He came to me complaining of mild fatigue, nothing alarming at first. His blood pressure looked stable, his cholesterol under control, yet his heart muscle was weakening slowly and silently. When I reviewed his chart, I realized the culprit wasn't age, and it wasn't diet. It was the medication he'd trusted for over a decade. And Harold isn't alone. Across the world, millions of seniors take pills prescribed with good intentions, pills meant to heal. But over time, they can quietly weaken the very organ they're meant to protect. With every passing decade, the heart changes in ways most people never notice. It beats a little slower, pumps a little less efficiently, and recovers from stress less quickly than before. The arteries stiffen, the heart muscle becomes less flexible, and the kidneys, your body's natural filters, lose some of their ability to clear medications from the bloodstream. This is a normal part of aging, but it also means that every pill you swallow stays in your system longer and affects your organs more intensely than it once did. What your body tolerated at 50 may now overwhelm it at 70. I've seen it again and again. Seniors come into my office confused, saying, "Doctor, I've been taking this medication for years. Why am I suddenly feeling worse?" The truth is their hearts haven't failed them. The chemistry around them has changed. The aging heart is like an engine that's run faithfully for decades. It still works, but it requires gentler handling. The walls of the heart stiffen with time, making it harder to fill and pump efficiently. Even a small rise in blood pressure or fluid retention can strain it. And here's where the problem begins. Certain common pills, the kind most seniors take without a second thought, quietly amplify this strain. They interfere with blood flow, alter pressure, or disrupt the balance of fluids that keeps your heart working smoothly. Take non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs, for example, those familiar over-the-counter painkillers like ibuprofen or naproxen. They help relieve joint stiffness or back pain, but for an aging heart, they can be a hidden danger. NSAIDs make the kidneys hold onto salt and water, raising blood pressure and forcing the heart to push harder with every beat. For someone whose heart is already slower and stiffer, that added pressure can be devastating. I've treated patients who landed in the hospital with heart failure after nothing more than a few weeks of daily painkillers. They thought they were easing pain. In truth, they were overloading their most vital muscle. Then there are sleep aids, sedatives that promise peaceful rest but come with a heavy price. These drugs slow the body's nervous system, including the heart's natural rhythm. In seniors whose reflexes and oxygen levels are already lower during sleep, that can mean dangerously low heart rates or nighttime breathing interruptions. A medication that once soothed restlessness in your 50s can silently weaken your heart's responsiveness in your 70s. I've watched patients grow weaker and more fatigued, assuming it was age catching up with them, when in reality, it was their sleep medication dulling their heart's natural strength night after night. Even medications meant to treat chronic conditions can turn against the aging heart. Some diabetes drugs, for instance, help control blood sugar, but cause the body to retain fluid. That same retained fluid builds pressure inside the chest, leading to swelling in the legs, shortness of breath, and a heart that struggles to keep up. Others, like certain acid reflux pills taken daily by millions, reduce stomach acid to prevent heartburn, but they also deplete magnesium, a mineral essential for steady heartbeats and muscle function. A deficiency that goes unnoticed for years can suddenly appear as irregular rhythms or unexplained fatigue. What makes all this so dangerous is how slowly it happens. There's no sharp pain, no warning sign that flashes across your chest. The decline is quiet, almost polite. Your morning walk feels slightly harder. You find yourself needing longer naps. The heart weakens one beat at a time. And because the symptoms mimic normal aging, most people never suspect their medication. That's why I tell every senior patient, the human body in its 70s is not the same as it was at 50. The heart that once handled stress, caffeine, and medication without complaint now needs more careful stewardship. Drugs that once protected you can become harmful allies if they're not monitored and adjusted for your changing physiology. It's not your fault, it's the natural cost of time. So if you're over 60 and on long-term medication, even something routine, pause and ask, is this still right for my body today? Because the truth is, your heart has been adapting quietly for years. The question is, has your prescription kept up? When I explain this to my patients, I often describe the body as an intricate network of cause and effect, like dominoes, standing perfectly balanced. Touch one, and the rest begin to fall. A single pill, taken daily and trusted completely, can set off a hidden chain reaction inside your body that slowly weakens the heart without ever making a sound. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens quietly, one shift at a time, until the body's natural balance is lost. Let me paint the picture. You take your medication after breakfast, just like you've done for years. The pill dissolves, enters your bloodstream, and begins doing what it was designed to do: relieve pain, control blood sugar, calm nerves, or reduce acid. But as it works on one part of your body, it subtly disturbs another. Maybe it signals your kidneys to hold on to more fluid than before. That extra fluid increases your blood volume, meaning your heart has to pump harder to move the same amount of blood. Your blood vessels respond by tightening to manage the pressure, and your heart muscle strains against the resistance. It's a small adjustment at first, barely noticeable, yet day after day, that constant pressure becomes your new normal. You start to feel a little heavier in your legs. Maybe you notice your shoes fitting tighter by evening, or your ankles swelling slightly. You tell yourself it's just water weight, a salty meal, or the weather. But inside, your heart is working overtime. Each beat demands more energy than it used to. And because your aging heart is less flexible, it can't compensate the way it once did. It tires faster, and you begin to feel that fatigue, a dull, creeping exhaustion that no amount of rest seems to fix. I remember a patient named Louise. She was 73, cheerful and active, but she came to my office complaining of relentless tiredness. "Doctor," she said, "I feel like my energy has been draining out of me for months. I used to walk with my granddaughter every morning. Now I can barely make it around the block." She assumed it was just age catching up to her. Her blood tests looked fine, and her heart rate was steady, though a bit slow. Then I noticed one medication on her list, a reflux pill she'd been taking for years. When we tested her magnesium levels, they were dangerously low, a side effect of that very pill. Magnesium is what helps the heart's electrical system keep rhythm. Without it, the heart can misfire, slow down, or flutter unevenly. We adjusted her medication, restored her mineral levels, and within a few weeks, she told me she could walk again without feeling drained. The problem wasn't her age, it was chemistry. That's how most of these hidden chain reactions work. They disguise themselves as normal aging. The extra weight around your belly, the dizziness when standing, the breathlessness climbing stairs, all subtle signs of imbalance. Maybe a diabetes pill makes your body retain fluid. That fluid raises your blood pressure. The increased pressure forces your heart to grow slightly larger to handle the load. But a bigger heart isn't a stronger one, it's a tired one. Or perhaps your sleep medication slows your breathing at night, reducing oxygen levels. Less oxygen means less energy for your heart cells, so they weaken little by little. Each pill pulls a string somewhere else in the body, and before you know it, the entire system starts to fray. Your heart doesn't fail suddenly. It fades quietly. It compensates for months, even years, by working harder, beating stronger, until it can't anymore. And when that moment comes, when fatigue, swelling, or palpitations finally drive you to the doctor, the damage has already been building beneath the surface. The most frightening part is that you may never connect the dots between the pill in your hand and the exhaustion in your chest. But that's the truth I see every day in my practice. It's not always the disease that breaks the heart. Sometimes it's the medicine meant to treat it. When I speak with my senior patients, I often tell them there are 7 pills I wish every person over 60 would pause and rethink. Each one was created to help, and in the short term, it often does. But over time, these same medications can quietly erode heart strength, disrupt blood flow, or exhaust the very system they're meant to protect. If you recognize any of these in your own medicine cabinet, don't panic and don't stop them suddenly. What matters is awareness, conversation, and the right guidance from your doctor. So let's begin our countdown. Pill number 7, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, better known as NSAIDs. Medications like ibuprofen, naproxen, and similar painkillers are the go-to for arthritis, back pain, or sore joints. They provide quick relief and can make stiff mornings easier. But here's the problem. NSAIDs also make the kidneys retain sodium and water, causing fluid buildup and higher blood pressure. For an aging heart that already works harder to circulate blood, this added strain can be dangerous. Over time, it can lead to swelling, shortness of breath, or even heart failure. Relief today, risk tomorrow. Pill number 6. Thiazolidinediones, a class of diabetes drugs used to lower blood sugar. On the surface, they seem life-saving for type 2 diabetes, but in seniors, they can trigger serious side effects. These pills cause fluid retention, weight gain, and can worsen or even cause congestive heart failure. The intention is good to improve insulin sensitivity, but the outcome can be devastating for an aging heart. I've seen patients whose swelling and fatigue were blamed on diabetes itself, when in reality, the medication was slowly flooding their body with excess fluid. Pill number 5, sedative sleeping pills, often called hypnotics. Medications like zolpidem or diazepam promise rest, calm, and peace at night. But in older adults, they slow down the nervous system too much, dulling the body's natural breathing rhythm and heart rate. What feels like a gentle drift into sleep can actually reduce oxygen levels and increase the risk of irregular heartbeat or nighttime heart strain. Over time, these pills can cause more than grogginess. They can lead to confusion, falls, and cardiovascular decline. Natural sleep routines and non-drug solutions are always safer paths for long-term heart health. Pill number 4, tricyclic antidepressants such as amitriptyline and nortriptyline. They were once widely prescribed for depression and nerve pain, but they come with a high price for seniors. These medications interfere with the electrical impulses that keep your heart beating steadily. They can cause dangerous rhythm disturbances, blood pressure drops, or sudden dizziness. Even at low doses, they can quietly damage the coordination of your heart's electrical system. I always urge my older patients to ask their doctors if newer heart-safe antidepressants are available. Pill number 3, decongestants, including pseudoephedrine and phenylephrine. These are found in common cold or allergy tablets that many people grab at the pharmacy without thinking twice. They clear a stuffy nose by tightening blood vessels, but they tighten all blood vessels, including those that feed your heart. That means higher blood pressure, faster heart rate, and increased risk of palpitations or even arrhythmias. What once felt harmless in your 40s can be risky in your 70s. If you have a history of heart disease or high blood pressure, these over-the-counter pills can do more harm than good. Pill number 2, proton pump inhibitors, or PPIs, used for acid reflux and heartburn. Millions of seniors take omeprazole, pantoprazole, or similar drugs every day, thinking they're completely safe. But long-term use can block your body's ability to absorb magnesium, a mineral essential for steady heartbeats. Low magnesium can lead to muscle weakness, fatigue, and dangerous rhythm disturbances. PPIs can also disrupt your gut bacteria and increase inflammation, both of which are tied to heart disease. These pills were meant for short-term relief, not lifelong use. And finally, pill number 1, calcium channel blockers. These are prescribed for high blood pressure, chest pain, or heart rhythm issues. When carefully monitored, they can be life-saving. But older forms of these drugs, like verapamil or diltiazem, can slow the heart too much. In seniors, that can cause dangerously low heart rates, fatigue, swelling, and even fainting. The most concerning issue is that these pills often go unchecked for years. Their side effects, like dizziness or shortness of breath, are easily dismissed as aging. I've seen too many seniors living with weak pulses or swelling in their legs, not realizing it's linked to their medication. These 7 pills don't always need to be eliminated. Many are still necessary when managed correctly, but they must be respected, monitored closely, adjusted carefully, and reviewed regularly. Because while the right medication can save your life, the wrong one, taken too long or without oversight, can slowly steal your heart's strength. Never stop a prescription without guidance. Instead, start a conversation. Awareness is the first step toward protecting your heart from the medicines that might be quietly working against it. The good news is, it's never too late to protect your heart. Even if you've been taking one or more of the pills we've talked about for years, you can begin to turn things around starting today. The first and most powerful step is simply awareness. Most people assume that if something is prescribed, it must be safe forever. But your body isn't the same as it was 20 years ago, and your medications shouldn't be either. Schedule a conversation with your doctor, not a rushed checkup, but a real discussion about your prescriptions. Bring a written list of everything you take, including over-the-counter pills, supplements, and herbal remedies. Tell your doctor honestly how long you've been taking them and what symptoms you've noticed, even small ones like fatigue, swelling, or shortness of breath. These small signs can reveal whether your medication is still helping or starting to harm. The key is to ask the right questions. Don't demand to stop anything abruptly. That can be dangerous. But ask, is there a newer, safer alternative for someone my age? Or can we test my magnesium or potassium levels to make sure these medications aren't depleting me? A good physician will appreciate your initiative. Medicine should be a partnership, not a lecture. And remember, adjusting a prescription isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. There are also natural and lifestyle-based approaches that can gently support your heart while reducing dependence on harsh medications. For pain, instead of relying solely on NSAIDs, try alternating cold and warm compresses, gentle stretching, or low-impact movement like Tai Chi or water aerobics. These improve circulation and reduce inflammation without raising blood pressure. For mild sleep problems, limit caffeine after lunch, expose yourself to morning sunlight, and develop a consistent bedtime routine. Herbal options like chamomile tea, magnesium-rich foods, or low-dose melatonin may help restore restful sleep without slowing your heart's rhythm. If acid reflux is your issue, start by identifying triggers instead of reaching for another PPI. Avoid heavy late-night meals, eat slowly, and elevate your upper body slightly when sleeping. Natural aids like aloe vera juice, slippery elm, or a spoonful of apple cider vinegar diluted in water can often soothe symptoms safely when used properly. The goal isn't to reject all medicine, it's to support your body so it needs less of it. Hydration is another simple but powerful protector. Many seniors unintentionally dehydrate themselves, afraid that drinking too much will increase bathroom trips. But when your body lacks water, your blood thickens and your heart has to pump harder to move it. Even mild dehydration can elevate blood pressure and strain your arteries. Aim to sip small amounts of water throughout the day rather than drinking large amounts all at once. If you notice swelling or fatigue, talk to your doctor before increasing fluids drastically, but never ignore your body's thirst signals. Magnesium deserves special attention. It's one of the most underappreciated minerals for heart health, essential for maintaining steady rhythms and supporting proper muscle contraction. Unfortunately, many medications, including PPIs and certain diuretics, drain it from your system. Good food sources include leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, almonds, and dark chocolate. If blood tests show you're low, your doctor may suggest a gentle supplement like magnesium glycinate. Restoring this mineral alone can often improve energy, reduce palpitations, and calm anxiety. And don't underestimate the power of regular heart checkups. Many seniors wait until they feel pain to visit a doctor, but prevention is far more effective. A quick blood pressure reading, a heart rhythm test, or even simple blood work can reveal early warning signs long before a major event. Monitoring these trends gives you the power to act early rather than react later. To make this process easier, I often recommend a senior-friendly health tracking app, something designed specifically for older adults, with large fonts, simple buttons, and reminders for medications, water intake, and heart rate. It allows you to record daily symptoms, track sleep, and log changes in energy or swelling. Over time, this creates a clear pattern you and your doctor can review together. It's not just technology, it's peace of mind. I've seen remarkable transformations when seniors take these steps. A man in his late 70s who once relied on multiple pills for sleep, pain, and reflux now manages with fewer medications and more energy than he's had in years. His secret wasn't a miracle cure. It was curiosity and consistency. He learned to listen to his body and question what no longer served him. So, don't feel powerless. Your heart has an incredible ability to recover when given the right care. Begin with one change: a conversation, a meal adjustment, or even a daily walk. Over time, these small actions build a shield of protection around your heart. Because the goal isn't just to live longer, it's to live better, with strength, clarity, and the confidence that your heart is truly working for you, not against you. When I look back on decades in the operating room, I've learned that most heart damage doesn't begin with a single dramatic moment. It begins quietly, in the spaces between good intentions. It begins with trust. Trust in a prescription, in a doctor's words, in the idea that if something was once safe, it must still be safe today. I've seen that trust both save lives and endanger them. Because the truth is, the pills meant to protect you can also weaken you if they go unchecked. They can start as helpers and end as burdens if no one pauses to ask whether your heart can still handle them. I've stood beside too many hospital beds where seniors looked at me and said, "Doctor, I did everything right." And they're not wrong. They followed instructions. They took their medications faithfully. They avoided salt, walked daily, and kept their blood pressure under control. Yet somehow their heart still faltered. In those moments, I don't feel anger or frustration. I feel sorrow. Because what failed them wasn't discipline or effort. It was awareness. No one told them that as the body changes with age, medicine must change with it. The human heart is both resilient and fragile. It will endure years of stress, recover from illness, and adapt to nearly anything you throw its way until one day it can't. Every heartbeat depends on balance, pressure, minerals, hydration, rhythm. Medications alter that balance, sometimes for good, sometimes for harm. But it's rarely obvious which is which until someone looks closely. That's why I urge you to stay informed, to question kindly, and to never feel embarrassed about asking your doctor why you take what you take. You have every right to understand what's entering your body. Curiosity is not defiance, it's self-preservation. If you've watched this far, you already have something most people don't: awareness. You've seen how easily common pills can change the heart's chemistry, how fatigue, swelling, or irregular beats can be side effects, not simply old age. You've learned that strength isn't just about exercising your body, but about protecting your heart from invisible burdens. That knowledge alone can save your life. I tell my patients all the time, your heart doesn't just belong to your body, it belongs to the people who love you. It's the rhythm your family depends on, the pulse that keeps your memories alive. Protecting it isn't just about surviving longer, it's about staying strong enough to keep sharing yourself with the world. So before you swallow your next pill, take a breath and ask, is this still helping me? Does my body still need it? Because medicine should evolve with you, not against you. I know that managing multiple prescriptions can feel overwhelming. It's easy to hand over your trust completely and let the system decide for you. But your greatest power lies in awareness, in knowing that you can ask, learn, and participate in your own care. The strongest patients I've ever met weren't those with the fewest illnesses. They were the ones who stayed curious, who questioned, who wanted to understand the why behind every decision. If there's one thing I hope you take from my words, it's this: your heart deserves the same attention you give to everyone else. Check on it, listen to it, and protect it. It doesn't ask for much, only that you notice when something feels off and that you never ignore your body's quiet warnings. I've repaired hundreds of hearts in my lifetime, but the most powerful healing doesn't happen in surgery. It happens when someone realizes they have the ability to prevent damage before it starts. That moment of understanding, that spark of responsibility, is what truly saves lives. So as you move forward, stay informed, stay alert, and stay curious about what goes into your body. Because every heartbeat matters and every choice adds up. You have more control than you think. Take that control back. One conversation, one question, one mindful decision at a time. Your heart is too important to ignore.